Sir, I need you to step down from the bus right now.
Officer, I'm fine. Look, it was just a mailbox.
You've been drinking this morning, sir?
No. I got a medical condition.
I can smell it on you. Turn around,
Please,
sir.
I got 22.
The body cam footage showed a man standing in the doorway of a school bus. Yellow polo shirt, school lanyard around his neck, barely able to maintain balance. His blood alcohol level was 0.14, nearly twice the legal limit, at 7:42 in the morning. The footage would be reviewed by the Georgia Department of Education, the National Transportation Safety Board, and news stations across the country. It would be played in courtrooms and legislative hearings. But the footage from that Thursday morning was only the beginning. Because when investigators started pulling records, GPS data, security camera footage, text messages, they discovered something that turned a single incident into a statewide scandal. This wasn't the first time. Marcus Dwayne Holloway had been driving bus 147 for 22 years. 3 generations of families had trusted him with their children. Parents who rode his bus as kids now watch their own children climb those same steps. They called him Mr. Marcus. He never missed a route, never had an accident, never received a single complaint in over 2 decades. What no one knew was that for 11 months, Marcus Holloway had been driving that bus under the influence. The crash into a mailbox that Thursday morning would expose everything. It would end his career, destroy his reputation, and send him to prison. Before we proceed, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Let's get into it. Marcus Dwayne Holloway was born in 1972 in Albany, Georgia. Working-class family. His father drove long-haul trucks, gone for weeks at a time, home for days, then gone again. His mother worked in a school cafeteria for $4.15 an hour. Marcus grew up in a small house on Cordele Road, watching yellow school buses pass his mother's kitchen window every morning. The rhythm of it, the reliability, the way the whole neighborhood set their clocks by when that bus rounded the corner. He graduated from Albany High School in 1990. His grades were average. His options were limited. 3 weeks after graduation, he walked into an Army recruiting office and signed his name. Transportation Corps. They taught him to drive supply trucks through terrain that would make most civilian drivers quit. Desert Storm. 18 months in theater. He came home in 1994 with an honorable discharge and a skill set that didn't translate easily to civilian life. Back in Albany, Marcus bounced between jobs. Warehouse work, delivery routes for a furniture company, night shifts at a plastics factory that paid well but ground him down. Then he met Denise Williams, pediatric nurse at Phoebe Putney Memorial Hospital. They met at a church cookout in 1995. Marcus flipping burgers, Denise organizing the dessert table. He asked for her number before she left. She made him wait 3 days before she called back. They married in October 1996. Small ceremony at Mount Zion Baptist Church. His mother cried. His father made it home from a haul just in time. For the next 6 years, Marcus worked whatever jobs he could find. Nothing stuck. In March 2002, he saw a posting at the unemployment office. School bus drivers needed. CDL training provided. $14.50 an hour. The training evaluator wrote, "Natural behind the wheel, patient, excellent situational awareness." He was assigned Route 147, Cedar Ridge Elementary, April 15, 2002. He would drive that same route for 22 years. In 2007, his first safety award, 0 incidents in 5 years. In 2012, promoted to senior driver. In 2015, featured in the district newsletter as the heart of Route 147. Parents loved him. He sang happy birthday to every child, kept granola bars under his seat for kids who missed breakfast, knew every parent by name, remembered which kids had allergies, which ones needed extra time getting up the steps. Mr. Marcus. That's what 3 generations of Cedar Ridge families called him. Then, in February 2023, Denise went to the doctor for a persistent cough. Stage 3 breast cancer. The diagnosis hit Marcus like a freight train. 31 years of marriage, the woman who had been his anchor through every storm. The medical bills piled up immediately. $47,000 out of pocket in the first 6 months. Marcus took out a second mortgage, picked up weekend work driving charter buses, 14-hour Saturdays, 12-hour Sundays. Then back behind the wheel, Monday at 5:15 a.m. He couldn't sleep. He'd lie awake listening to Denise breathe, terrified each breath might be her last. The drinking started quietly. A shot of vodka before bed, just to take the edge off. That's what he told himself. Every morning in America, 480,000 yellow school buses transport 26 million children, more than all other forms of public transit combined. The school bus is statistically the safest way for a child to travel, but that safety depends entirely on the person behind the wheel. In Jefferson County, Georgia, the district operates 127 buses and employs 89 drivers. Routes begin at 6:15 a.m. The last buses return around 4:45 p.m. During those hours, drivers are alone with their passengers. No monitor, no supervisor, no oversight. To drive a school bus in Georgia, you need a commercial driver's license with P and S endorsements. Drug and alcohol screening is required at hire. After that, the oversight becomes sporadic. Federal regulations require random testing, but only for 10% of drivers per year. Post-accident testing is mandatory. Reasonable suspicion testing is available. But there's a gap in the system, a significant one. There is no requirement for testing before a morning route, no breathalyzer at the bus yard, no supervisor checking drivers as they clock in. Nothing standing between an impaired driver and a bus full of children except the honor system. In Jefferson County, the transportation yard opened at 5:30 a.m., but drivers with early routes arrived earlier. They clocked in using a keypad, conducted their own inspections, signed their own names, self-reported, self-certified, self-regulated. As long as the bus showed up on time, no one asked questions. November 14th, 2023. That was the date of Marcus Holloway's first drink before a morning route. Denise had started chemotherapy 3 weeks earlier. The side effects were brutal: nausea, vomiting, hair falling out in clumps. Marcus would hold her hair back while she retched at 3 a.m., then try to grab 2 hours of sleep before his alarm. That Tuesday morning, he couldn't stop his hands from shaking. He stood in the kitchen at 5 a.m., looking at the vodka bottle, and told himself it was just this once, just to steady his nerves, just to get through the day. 2 shots, then mouthwash, then coffee. He drove Route 147 without incident, picked up all 19 kids, delivered them safely, came home to find Denise asleep on the couch, a bucket beside her. He told himself it was a one-time thing. By December, he was drinking every morning. The vodka went into a plastic water bottle in his lunchbox. Clear liquid. No smell if the cap stayed on. He developed a system. 2 shots at home, mouthwash, eye drops for the redness, coffee for the breath. He believed he was functional. Told himself the alcohol actually helped, steadied his hands, calmed his nerves. I drove better with a little something in me. That's what he would later tell investigators. The dosage increased gradually. 2 shots in January, 3 in March, 4 by April. By July, he was drinking during his midday break between routes. By October 2024, he was drinking before, during, and after every shift. And no one noticed. Or rather, people noticed. They just didn't understand what they were seeing. In February, a parent complained bus 147 arrived late 3 days in a row. Dispatchers chalked it up to traffic. In May, another driver mentioned Marcus seemed off, tired, distracted. The supervisor assumed it was stress from his wife's illness. They let it go. In August, a substitute driver found 3 empty airplane bottles under the seat. He threw them away, didn't report it, didn't want to get anyone in trouble. Nobody wanted to believe it about Marcus. He was Mr. Marcus. October 17th, 2024, Thursday. Marcus had been awake since 2:15 a.m. when Denise started vomiting from chemo. He cleaned her up, changed the sheets, and sat in the dark kitchen waiting for the sun. At 5 a.m., he poured 4 shots of Smirnoff. More than usual, his hands were shaking badly. The vodka helped. At 5:15 a.m., he arrived at the yard. No supervisor on duty. They didn't start until 5:30. He clocked in and conducted his own inspection. Everything marked satisfactory. At 6:15 a.m., first pickup. Magnolia Street. The Henderson twins, Maya and Marcus Jr., 6 years old. They climbed the steps chattering about a birthday party. Over the next hour, he completed 7 more stops, 19 children total, ages 5 to 11. Marcus was sweating despite the October chill, kept the radio off. The noise bothered him. At 7:31 a.m., a teacher named Keisha Woodard pulled onto Ridgewood Lane behind bus 147. She was running late, annoyed at the slow-moving bus. Then she watched it drift across the center line. It corrected, too sharply, nearly clipped a parked car, then drifted left again. Keisha dialed 911. "I think the school bus driver might be having a medical emergency. He's swerving all over the road. There are kids on that bus." 7 minutes later, bus 147 turned into the Cedar Ridge Elementary parking lot. Marcus cut the wheel too wide. The front right corner struck a black mailbox, snapping the wooden post. The children screamed. Marcus sat frozen, hands still on the wheel. Principal Vanessa Okafor saw the impact from the sidewalk. She called 911 immediately. 4 minutes later, 2 deputies arrived. Deputy Ryan Mercer approached the bus. Deputy Thomas Vega began evacuating children from the rear. Deputy Mercer was 6 feet from the door when the smell hit him. The field sobriety test took less than 3 minutes. Marcus failed all 3 components: walk and turn, 1-leg stand, horizontal gaze nystagmus. The breathalyzer registered 0.14, nearly twice the legal limit. At 7:58 in the morning, a search of his lunchbox produced a water bottle. Field tested positive for alcohol. Marcus was handcuffed at 7:47 a.m., while 19 children watched from the sidewalk. That afternoon, investigators searched his home. In the garage, 14 empty vodka bottles. Bank records showed purchases at the Chevron 3 to 4 times per week since November 2023, always between 4:45 and 5:10 a.m. in his nightstand, a composition notebook. Denise's treatment schedule on the first pages. On later pages, his own doses, times and amounts: 2 shots, 3 shots, 4. They pulled his text messages, a conversation with his brother from September. "How you holding up, man?" "Taking it one day at a time, got my medicine." "The doctor give you something?" "Nah, self-prescribed." "Don't, I got it under control." But the most damaging evidence came from an unexpected source. A parent named Dwayne Caldwell had dashcam footage from October 3rd, 2 weeks before the crash. It showed bus 147 swerving across the center line into the path of an oncoming pickup. The truck veered onto the shoulder. The bus corrected at the last moment, missing by less than 3 feet. Marcus never reported it. 14 seconds of footage. It became the centerpiece of the prosecution's case. 14 seconds of video that showed this had been going on for months. The confrontation lasted less than 2 minutes. Deputy Mercer's body camera captured every second. Marcus stood in the doorway gripping the handrail with both hands. Yellow polo, dark with sweat. Eyes bloodshot, unfocused, slow to track. "Sir, I need you to step down from the bus, right now." Marcus blinked, swayed. "Officer, I'm fine. It was just a mailbox. I swerved for a dog." "Have you been drinking this morning?" "What? Nah." His voice rose. "I got a medical condition. I take pills for my back." Deputy Mercer stepped closer. "The smell unmistakable. I can smell it on you. Step down. Hands where I can see them." Marcus's face crumpled. The fight drained out of him. "Man, please. I got 22 years driving for this district. Please don't do this in front of the kids." Behind him, 19 faces watched through the windows. 7-year-old Maya Henderson pressed against the glass, tears streaming. Marcus saw her. He had driven her mother to school 15 years earlier. Same route, same seat. His legs buckled. He caught himself on the handrail, stumbled down the steps. "Oh God, what have I done?" Those were the last words he spoke before the handcuffs clicked. Stories like this don't get the attention they deserve. If you want to see more accountability coverage, subscribe and hit the notification bell. On October 24th, 2024, the district attorney filed formal charges. 19 counts of DUI child endangerment, 1 count of reckless driving, 1 count of felony DUI. Marcus rejected a 5-year plea deal. He wanted to testify, to explain. His public defender built his defense around 2 arguments: Denise's illness as a mitigating factor, and Marcus's alcoholism as a disease. The prosecution had the dashcam footage. The trial began February 10th, 2025. 6 days, 14 witnesses. When the dashcam footage was played, 3 people in the gallery gasped. 1 mother left in tears. Marcus spent 90 minutes on the stand. He admitted everything. He apologized. He wept. It wasn't enough. Tanya Henderson, mother of Maya, addressed the court. "My children won't get on a school bus anymore. Maya has nightmares every week. She asks me every morning, what if the driver is sick?" She's 7 years old. She shouldn't have to ask that. The jury deliberated 3 hours and 17 minutes. Guilty. All counts. Judge Patricia Harmon addressed Marcus. 22 years without incident. Letters attesting to your character. And I have weighed all of that against what you did. She paused. You drove a 14-ton vehicle with 19 children inside while nearly twice the legal limit. Repeatedly. Over 11 months. You placed your need to cope above the lives of children who called you Mr. Marcus. Another pause. The tragedy of your wife's illness explains your pain. It does not justify your choices. Nothing justifies those choices. The sentence: 8 years in Georgia State Prison. Lifetime CDL revocation. $127,000 restitution. Marcus is currently at Hays State Prison in Treon, Georgia. Medium security. Eligible for parole in 2029. Denise visits once a month. Her cancer went into remission in June 2025. 14 families sued Jefferson County Schools. The district settled for $340,000. An implicit admission that their oversight had failed. One morning that changed everything. But this next case? An employee who did something even more unforgivable and almost got away with it. It's on your screen right now.